Hi, Sonder family. It is really nice to see you today. I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. Or I always send these messages to my daughter when I used to drop her off at school when she was little. I would say, have a marvelous Monday, have a terrific Tuesday, have a wonderful Wednesday, and a thrilling Thursday, and a fabulous Friday. And so I still do. She's 30, almost 31, and I still send her messages like that. And today I told her, I said it's tax day. And I said, I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. So I'm sending that to y'all. I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. But I also sent to her one that said, or at least a tolerable Tuesday. So that it's not terrible, but tolerable. So I'm glad you're here. It is so good to see you. It's really good. Yeah, Malika, it is tax day, isn't it? The 15th. Anyhow, it's so I love that y'all are here. We've got some new folks who are here for the very first time. Now, I think these coloring socials are super duper special. They're low key. They're about sitting with your journal. I always say, come with your journal, but also if you are a crafter or you have a hobby that's kind of slow and mindful, bring that to these coloring socials because it is filled with, a lot of music, a lot of intention, a lot of mindfulness. And so, whether you're actually coloring or you're getting in your flow through a hobby, a slow hobby, whatever you take what you need. Maggie had mentioned that she's not quite finished setting up for the week. If you want to finish any of that, feel free to do that. This space is for you. And we're just glad that we are gathered here together. I keep getting out of this sunlight. I've got the sun setting on out through that window. So make sure your chat is set to everyone. We don't do a whole lot of chatting because we are, in the middle of a mindfulness practice when we gather together for this social. But when we communicate, we do communicate through that chat. And then I want to shout out, I'm going to be hosting an in-person Silk and Sonder gathering. Thank you, Andrea. I chose my rainbow shirt for our coloring time together. And so Malika will drop the information in the chat. It's at one of my favorite local hangouts. I love a good piece of pie. And so we're going to have a private room, and we're going to just, hang out with Sonder families. So if you are anywhere in the Dallas Fort Worth area, would love to see you there. I know, Andrea, I saw that you already RSVP'd, so I'm excited about that. And it's open to friends too. So, the more the merrier. Let's introduce people to the magic of Silk and Sonder. There are community guidelines, and if you've been here before, we share these at all the socials, and it's that reminder that we create safe spaces for one another, but also for ourselves, and we take care of each other. So as we are, traveling through this evening, keep these community guidelines in mind. We are embracing the idea of authenticity, which is, I think, a wonderful. We have themes that are fun, and I feel they're kind of frolicky, and we have themes that really make us do the work, right? Like encourage us to dig deep, and definitely how authentic are we? How true to ourselves are we? We're looking at that this month and through all the areas of our life. And so as you're coloring tonight, I'm proud of you for being here, for being true to your authentic self, and just kind of keep that in mind. I have some things I want to share with you about our mandalas, and that will hopefully extend the mindfulness of this practice. We're going to have a quick opening activity, very quick, and then we're going to spend time coloring on our page, maybe sharing some things that might be coming up as we are kind of getting lost in that practice, and then we'll close our time together. I love when we have a mandala to color. I always pull this graphic up because it just makes me laugh that, we started coloring to help manage our stress and anxiety, and I always get tickled. I'm an early childhood educator, director, retiree, and that coloring and that scribbling. So, yeah, I'm fine. I'm managing my stress. So here we are tonight. You feel that coloring, Celestial. I hope that if you are starting off feeling like you just want to do that to your page, by the time you leave tonight, you have found a little bit of a reset to that feeling. So, I want to start our time together by inviting you to set an intention for this practice this evening. Just for a moment, ask yourself, what do you want from this time together, this session, this social? Yes, and Jean, I have some suggestions for those itty bitty spaces too. So think about what you need. Do you need a little playfulness? Do you need just a little peace? Do you need some alone time? What do you want from this session tonight, this social? And just jot that down, jot it, say it to yourself, put it on a post-it note, maybe pencil it in the corner, maybe lightly put it on the mandala, that's what you need. And Jennifer Navarro just shared, I need it to clear my mind. Yeah, that perimenopause brain is kind of can get ahead of you, for sure, for sure. I wish I could tell you it gets better with menopause. My brain just kind of stops working sometimes. But think about, yeah, just not thinking, not planning, getting lost in the practice, the mindfulness of it. Yeah. Oh, Andrea, yes. So just you need some calm because you've got a big doctor appointment tomorrow. Sarah needs a little playfulness, a little joy. All right. So I want you to settle your body, and this is actually a mandala from one of our Sonder family. And I want you to just look, you can look on your coloring page if you've started it, or you can just look at the center of this mandala. And I want you to focus on that center and just allow your mind to become very still. And I want you to just reflect on that intention. Almost fast forward to what are you going to feel like in a few minutes, right? Kind of think about that. And I'm going to stop talking for just a moment. I'm going to play a mantra behind this practice to kind of help us focus on this. So again, just take that intention that you have for tonight, have it hanging around in your mind, or write it a couple of times. Look at that mandala, and let's just take a moment to settle our souls.
I am perfect as I am. Ooh, 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 I am.
All right. Thank you for taking just a moment to think about your intention for our time tonight, and a moment to settle and kind of get cozy where you are. Oh, Kinsley, that's a perfect reason to open up a coloring page. Just take a break from, it's so easy to pick up our phone and then blink, an hour has gone by. So I'm glad that you all are here. So before we begin, I do want to spend a little bit of time because I think our mandala pages are so purposeful. Mandalas represent beautiful, beautiful things in the world. And so I want to make sure that we embrace the fullness of what this coloring page can bring us. Mandala means sacred circle. And I love it's from the word mandra, which means container of essence. Think about that mantra we just listened to. I am perfect as I am. You have this container of essence. That is who you are. And so we are going to be thinking about that as we embrace this beautiful page tonight. Our one of our co-facilitators, Bailey, sent me this posting several months ago and said, I knew you would love it and you would want to share at a coloring social. This is someone's mandala collection, and it represents a healing journey that she used the mandala coloring as she healed from losing her husband. And this represents 3 years of her life of coloring and taking these sacred spaces the practices that she created as she didn't necessarily recover, but learned how to move forward through the practice. And so, really wanted to share that with you because, you may consider as we come across some of these pages that are a little more spiritual in nature, you may want to preserve them and remind yourself of a journey that you are on. So I wanted to share that with you. And then I want to talk about where we start in our mandala page. Now, there's not a right way or wrong way. You don't have to start in the center. That's typical of a mandala, especially if you're drawing one, you would start in the center and then work your way out. But when we're coloring, if you want to start in the center, you can think of that as yourself, that very middle core, your inner world. It can help you feel grounded. And then as you move outward, you build like this energy, right? If you're being very mindful with this page, and this is great for days when you want to reconnect with yourself. Now, if you start on the outside and move in, it can kind of represent that the big world around you, the external forces that are influencing your life. You could choose colors that might represent that, and maybe they're bold, bright, maybe even angry colors if stuff is like right now, and move toward the center with the cooler, calmer colors to give that representation of starting from that outside. And this will help you, kind of retreat from the outside in. And so starting from the outside and coloring to the inside is great when you need to decompress and settle those thoughts. And then there is the idea, we've got two more, the idea of a spiral work or sectional starts. So you just choose a section and you work on it. And you can literally draw sections on your page. You can just do a big X and then a plus sign and work on the page in sections like that. It doesn't have to be confined to what you see in your coloring page, but you sort of like make these pie pieces. I've got a fun example to show you of a color wheel approach with that. This gives you some playful energy. So if that's something you're wanting to take away tonight, you could consider that. And it can kind of feel like mini meditations as you're going from slice to slice, which will help you create balance. And I'm going to go back through these slides while you begin your practice as well. And then finally, a free form start. Just like maybe your eye lands on the bottom corner. You just start there, and that can like really help you sort of trust yourself, let your intuition lead you. It's a little more freer of a practice, very organic, And if you've just had too much rigidity in your life lately and you need a little freedom, that might just be a way. Just go very random to your page. So I just want to invite you to bring that extra bit of mindfulness to this page tonight. Mandalas can be found everywhere. And I was telling Malika, it's kind of like, when you get a new car and then you notice like they're all over the road. You didn't notice that before. It's kind of like start looking for mandalas in your world. And when you do, take a break and take a moment to just kind of think upon that. When you discover a mandala pattern within when like a blanket, stained glass windows, we see a lot of that. Of course, beautiful flowers in nature. Perhaps you create your own mandala with some found objects. Or when you eat a slice of apple or orange, slice it so that you can find the mandala that is represented there. I had mentioned the idea of crisscrossing and, making a plus and a big X on this page, and you could embrace your colors by doing it this way. And this is a really great way to tackle those small spaces. Do the spaces in large swashes of color, and then as you feel like going back, you could highlight with a darker shade. My arthritis is really bad right now, and so I'm not coloring all those itty bitties. I'm going to do big swooshes on my page. And then here's some just beautiful examples from Sonder family. And if this page feels daunting, maybe you take a half a sheet of paper and tape over half of this page and free form a flower like the sunflower you see there, or your own mandala for the other half. Again, not a right or wrong way to embrace this practice. It's just about, focusing on being calm and kind of recentering. You can see the example of someone who chose to trace the lines rather than color. So a marker and just finding that flow and shutting all the world out so that you can focus on the page. I also thought this one on the right was so springy and beautiful. And then a couple of other examples. You can see the colored pencil example there on the left, and then sort of the palettes of color that were chosen. So I've done an awful lot of talking. It's time to get going with our beautiful background music. And I'll go back and forth through these slides so you can also read more about the mandalas and how you approach these pages. You can get a lot of mandala pages free online to color, and that might be a nice thing to keep at your desk or to maybe shut your day down with 5-10 minutes of coloring. And then having that mindfulness of where you start just to kind of add a little something something to do the practice. So I'll stop talking, put on some music. So glad that we are gathered together tonight to be our true authentic selves as we lean into this practice. I'm just popping in to remind you to be sure that you're breathing, breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, just kind of embrace that mindfulness practice. I was saying, Malika shared, that she loves mandalas, and it's very often found in the clothing of her culture. And I was saying, I had these beautiful, I don't know if you could see, yeah, kind of brass earrings from that were made in India. And I wore them all the time. And I was working in the garden last year and I came in and I only had one. And I refuse to get rid of this one because I'm hoping that one day I'm gonna just be in the flower bed and I'm gonna find its match. But again, just that reminder that mandalas are everywhere. We've discovered that perhaps mandalas are in the wagon wheel hamburger helper of our youth. So, you never you never know. And that's one of the reasons I love gathering with y'all is that we get to share just some fun special moments and memories like that. So, yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be great if I was like going out and just harvesting something and then there's my earring. I would love it. But I'll eventually make a little pendant of it if not, but they're just beautiful and they're light and they're always my favorite. But a reminder that mandalas are all around us. So keep in mind while you're coloring that it's impossible to get these art activities wrong. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's about the process. We love the product at the end, but we really focus on the process and what it's doing for our spirits. So we will play a few more songs and then we'll close our time together. right, my friends, our time together has come to its end. Thank you for indulging me this evening as I tried to embrace the idea of the world and mandalas in our life. I'm sorry that I might have given a few of you some earworms, but it kind of is a small world in our Silk and Sonder family. Um, so
Fight the
glad that you joined
wheel
us tonight. We'd
and it
love,
goes round,
love,
round,
love to
round.
see your page posted in Sonder Club and maybe talk a little bit about, why you approached your practice the way you did, how you were feeling before you began your practice, how you're feeling now. This social has been recorded, so you'll be able to watch it within a couple of days again if you want to just, maybe put it on for the music or not. But I am so glad that you were intentional with this time for your practice tonight. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week, and I'll see you soon.
Spins along with a happy sound as it goes along the ground, ground, ground till it leads you to the ones you love and you love.